It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas at sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise on this fabulous Friday. I'm Anastasia Palacios.
Good morning. She's looking bright and beautiful as always. I'm Philip Simon, TGIF to you. We're so glad you joined us.
Oh, Phil just knows how to start my morning right. What y'all didn't see is Phil and I's dispute prior to the camera turning on. And this is why he has to come back with all of these accolades so early in the morning. But I'll take them. I'll take them after all. How was the week, Phil?
You know, it was a long week. I will not lie, it was a long week. But I think it was productive, actually. It was productive. It was pretty good. You know, every day is a new day. You know, so I'm glad to be here. Glad to be, you know, every time you drive up here and you see all of these people, they're exercising or they're getting ready for work. And I mean, that really pumps me up, you know, especially to see the young people up so early in the morning, you know, making things happen.
Yeah.
You know, so listen, be encouraged. Whatever it is that you're doing, just make it happen to the best of your abilities.
Certainly wonderful words of advice to go into this Friday show, and it's definitely going to be a good show for you. We've got a great lineup talking to you about lots of different things today, and we hope that you'll get to enjoy it all.
Yeah. Davinia Blair is here. She's the chief
Indeed.
of the Small Business Development Center. Of course, we're talking entrepreneurship. Jadian Miller, young guy, very impressed with him. He's J. Miller & Co. You know, so he's going to be on the show telling us about all the wonderful things that he's doing. And of course, Bahamas National Trust. David is here.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Bahamas National Trust is a lot of stuff happening, a lot of things going on.
They got the pig roast this weekend, I think.
Pig roast this weekend. They're having something at the Daniel Key Yacht Club in a few weeks, so we're going to talk to them about all of that. In addition, we've been having our HBCU series. And HBCU, of course, refers to historically black colleges and universities, being brought to us by the lovely women of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated and those brothers of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And they're going to be back with us again today. We're featuring some of the distinguished alumni. I'm really happy to have my soror, Alana Major, in studio. Of course, you know her. She often sits in this chair when I'm not here with Phil, but a brilliant and beautiful woman. Morning,
yes,
Alana.
Absolutely.
And we've got some special guests to talk to you about how you can really benefit from going to an HBCU. So we're looking forward to that.
Listen, if you don't know Dennis yet,
you will know him soon.
Absolutely, another one of those bright Bahamian young stars. Can I call him young? I guess I can, actually.
I mean, yeah, you can. I can't.
Right.
But no, Dennis is great people. A brilliant mind, totally brilliant mind. Worked all over the world, and of course you're going to learn more about this in that segment. But really, two outstanding alumni, and we're looking forward to that segment. And in addition to that, we've got the Alive Weekend calendar, always letting you know exactly what's happening in the weekend and how you can enjoy it. And of course, you sat down with the Minister of Tourism the other day.
I did.
For a really good conversation.
Yeah, really good conversation. This was before he jetted off to New York. I think they had a new brand launch. Hopefully we can get him back on the show to talk about that. But it's always interesting whenever you have Denisio de Aguilar in front of you. He's an interesting mind as well. You know, some people say he's just, no, but he's a real interesting mind as well. And, you know, the awards that the Ministry of Tourism got, he was Minister of the Year. So, good stuff.
Okay, excellent. Well, we're looking forward to all of that. But of course, we want to take a first look at weather with Godfrey Burnside. Here he is.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First. First in insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Star. Good morning, Bahamas. In your first look at weather, sunrise. Some patchy clouds around the islands. We do have high pressure down the feature across the islands to the northeast of the islands. Little frontal boundary move near Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini. On Saturday, it will stall, cause a couple of showers, particularly with those areas in northern islands of Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini. The rest of them have a lovely weekend in store weather-wise. Any weather today, we're looking at partly sunny, a little breezy, and warm, with a chance of a few showers mainly across the extreme northwest Bahamas, high temperature reaching 82 degrees Fahrenheit. tonight, we're looking at a few patchy clouds on the mild side. Your low temperature going down to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. And in some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 83 and 75. In Jamaica 79 and 71. In Trinidad 88 and 73. And the Turks and Caicos Islands 82 and 69. Across North America, Atlanta 65 and 38. In Raleigh 68 and 46. In Miami 78 and 67. Dallas, Texas 44 and 29. And Toronto, Canada 49 and 18. As we go into the weekend, looking at partly sunny sky for the most part. In the northwest Bahamas, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds with a couple of showers around that frontal boundary across Grand Bahama Abaco. The temperature daytime will be in low 80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That puts you up in your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Well, I'm very happy this morning to be sitting across from this amazing woman who has been on a roll since she last came to speak with us. That would have been about July or August of last year, talking to us about the Small Business Development Center. At that time, they were just getting started, encouraging people to sign up online for services that would help to transform their businesses. The Small Business Development Center is working to guide the development, funding, and growth of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the Bahamas. And here to talk to us more about it, we've got the Executive Director of what is called the Access Accelerator, Davinia Blair. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you for having me.
Davinia, it has been a whirlwind.
Of sorts.
Talk to me about the progress that you guys have made since you officially launched in September and it now being February.
So I'm happy that you mentioned the last time we were here in August, I think, or maybe early September. On September 20th, when we launched, we had about 900 persons signed up.
Wow.
And at that point, you know, we were celebrating, the pom-poms were out, yay, people are interested, and we, as far as I'm concerned, we were inundated. So at that point, we had already had plans to expand the team. By January of this year, you know, we were at about 2,000, just under 2,000.
Okay.
Last week, we were around 2,100.
Right.
This morning, we're at 3,100.
Wow.
So Bahamians are definitely interested in owning their economy, and I think we need to celebrate it. I'm so excited to see the extent to which they're hungry for what the government is doing through the Small Business Development Center, and we're ready to help them.
That seems like a lot, though. When I think about 3,000 people signing up for something, I kind of think of Black Friday and massive amounts of people running toward purchasing the same TV set. I can imagine that as an organization starting out, and you can obviously let us know how many people are working with you, that it might be hard to get 3,000 people through the door at one time.
Absolutely.
So what is the actual process like in terms of after I sign up, what happens?
So let's give some context. You're right. So you have 3,000 plus persons. You have an advisory team of about 20.
Okay.
And an operational team of 7.
Okay.
So with that in mind, let's just round that up to 30 versus 3,000. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's important for persons to understand the process. So right now, if you were to sign up, which we're happy for the persons that have been signing up, you have an appointment either for a class if you're a startup, and those appointments at the moment are in June, as well as if you're an existing business and you go straight to see an advisor, those appointments at the moment are in June.
Okay.
Now, we've made some changes since we've launched our Family Island locations. We launched Grand Bahama last week, and we've launched Exuma, Eleuthera, Long Island, and Abaco. So all of those islands today by 5 p.m. would have had their own calendars populated through the website. And those of you who are registered with us, you will get an email. If you registered as a Family Islander, but you have an appointment that's based on the broad-based calendar, you can migrate your appointment to your individual calendar, and that will facilitate you getting a much earlier appointment. What that does is that pushes about 800 people that are from the Family Islands that are now on the broad calendar to the individual calendars. So those of you who are on the New Providence calendar, you will automatically get a notice to be able to pull your time up a lot earlier than what you're experiencing now. So that sort of helps, you know, to bring the appointments up. But from a process point of view, you still need to use this time to be prepared. We have to be able to give the quality service that allows the time necessary to think through your idea, to stress test your idea, to ensure that there's proper research, analysis, forecasting. Even if you already have, we would encourage people who are waiting to use this time to develop a business plan if you have the wherewithal to do so. But even if you have that business plan, it still has to be scrutinized, because when we put the Access Accelerator stamp on that business plan, we're at the same time appending the government's guarantee to that business plan. And so that's taxpayers' dollars that we have to account for. And then when we go to our financial partners, we're thankful for RBC, Scotia, the Bahamas Development Bank, the Bahamas Entrepreneurial Venture Fund for coming on as financial partners. When we take that to them, there's an expectation that we would have done significant due diligence, not just on the who the entrepreneur is, but also the nature of the business. So that takes time. That's not going to be overnight. And we need people to appreciate that's the joy of the program, that you enjoy fully understanding what your business is about so that you have the command to execute it. So we need persons to be patient, but prepare yourself while you're waiting for your appointment.
All right, so I just kind of want to recap, because we talked about a lot there, but I think it's critical that people pull out some points from that, right? The first is that if you're in the Family Island and you've already signed up, by today you should have an understanding of an appointment time that might be earlier than what was originally assigned.
Yes.
And so that will come to you in an email today if you're already signed up in the Family Island. In doing that, you've moved persons in Nassau up also, because there was one list before, and now I get the understanding that this Nassau list will also allow them to see you a bit earlier, because the Family Islands are now being separated.
Yes.
Even though you may be seen earlier, this is still a process and a waiting time.
Absolutely.
Because you want a long-term business, right? A business that lasts. And so what it takes to build a business that lasts is a process in terms of what the SBDC offers, in terms of advisory service and business classes that allows people to really grow and make sure that their business idea is solid. So that takes time.
It takes time.
All right. So understand that the appointment may be a month from now, 6 weeks from now, or 2 days from now. But in that time, prepare yourself, because you're going to go through a process that allows your business to sustain long-term growth.
And when I say prepare, so by saying, develop a business plan, that may sound, ambivalent. So let's make that a bit more specific. Understand the process of your individual business. Think about all of the stages, all of the things that go into making the money that you expect to make based on the process that you expect to employ. All right? And talk it out. Sit your little sister or brother down, sit your mommy or daddy down, and tell them the process. Be able to articulate it in words to somebody else other than yourself. That's how you start. It's simple things that get you going, and then you get input. And you go and you research that input. Start researching prices. If it's a piece of machinery you need, check all around the world. Don't just check one country. See every single manufacturer of that particular equipment. Begin to research other companies that are already using that piece of equipment. I mean, dig into it, because when you get with us, you're going to have to demonstrate that it's already been done, or we're going to have to do it together.
Okay. Well, Tavinia, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm hoping that we'll get you back more and more to talk about the progress that you're making and some of the groups that you're helping, because we know that this program also helps marginalized groups as well. So there's so much here. Of course, people can visit you. There's a website that people can go to.
www.sbdcbahamas.com.
Okay. And I think that you can follow them online as well, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn.
I think we have all of the outlets. If you're on any of them, we're there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning and for the continued work you're doing to really bring SMEs to the next level here in the Bahamas. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm having fun.
It looks so. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We're going to be right back with more after this commercial break.
Grand Bahamas' biggest business conference. Be there Thursday, February 21st at the Grand Lucayan Resort at 8:30 a.m. Keynote address by Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, Minister for Grand Bahama. Register now. Contact Margaret Albury at the Councilors Limited at 322-7505 or Merson Ferguson at the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce 242-352-8329 or register online at tclevents.com. Grand Bahama Business Outlook 2019.
Lysol disinfectant spray, now $8.99 at Solomon's.
really own a Nassau container port?
Boss, that's easy. The government.
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
I do.
I do. And one day, he will too. I do. Knock knock.
Here at the Nassau Container Port, we've diversified our ownership to give hardworking Bahamians a piece of the economic pie. And we'll continue to grow so that we can give you a consistent return on your investment. That's our promise.
I'm Jennifer Basden, Group Sales and Marketing Manager for Bahamas Air, and it's my pleasure to invite you to experience Houston. From out-of-the-world excitement at Space Center's Houston, the gateway to NASA's mission control, to the over 10,000 restaurants representing cuisine from more than 70 countries. Houston has it all. Come, experience Houston with direct service on Bahamas Air. For more information on flight and packages, visit bahamasair.com.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We've got one of those young entrepreneurs that we introduced to the venue before the show started. He's got hookup now. He specializes in fitness training, motivational speaking, academic tutoring, and the list goes on. Jay Miller and Company. J.D. and Miller, welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise, man.
Morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to well, of course, I know you,
yes,
but to just learn more about you, and of course, you know, introducing you to the wider audience of Bahamas at Sunrise. But just tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into J. Miller & Co.
All right. So my name is J.D. Miller. I'm 33 years old. I'm passionate about helping people and developing youth. From I was 10 years old, I realized that I wanted to help people, and that's why I started J. Miller & Company, so I could make a invaluable difference to the world.
Wow. From you 13, you were thinking about
10
this.
years old.
10 years old,
Yes,
you were
sir.
thinking about this
Yes,
stuff.
sir.
But you offer a lot of different services. I mean, just reading it out. But there's a particular focus on fitness training.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's near and dear to me, trying
Yes,
to get
sir.
back into some shape. But,
Yes,
but
sir.
speak a little bit about that aspect of your business.
All right, so when we look at fitness training and strength and conditioning, you know, your health is your wealth, right?
Right.
A lot of times we go to work, we eat, we don't exercise, and what happens is the toxins stay in your body, so you don't get to detox yourself.
Yep.
So you need a fitness daily to be able to have a healthy life, be productive, and be more focused and alert. So the focus is to make sure to help individuals to stay healthy, even just 30 minutes a day, just working on 30 minutes a day. It's going to help flush the toxins out of your body. You have a healthy life, healthy functioning body, and the strength and conditioning we also do for athletes. So student athletes who are in all sports, not just track and field or basketball, but all sports to get them conditioned so that everyone can have a great life, be productive, and be able to perform at a high level.
So when you talk about the different types of services, of course you mentioned student athletes, but
Yes,
you know, what are the other types of services that you guys would offer?
Okay, in terms of fitness?
Yeah,
Or, okay,
fitness.
so also individuals who are older also, like who work, who have kids, who just need to do some kind of working out maybe early in the mornings or late in the evenings. We accommodate them also because they have busy schedules. But we want them to understand that there's a focus on being healthy. You don't just want to work, make money, take care of your family. You know, so we want to incorporate fitness because it's going to help them have a productive life.
You mentioned right away, you know, in the conversation, the focus on youth.
Yes, sir.
It's not just fitness, but of course it's also youth mentoring and life skills training.
Yes,
Speak a little bit more about that.
All right, so when it comes to youth mentoring, I started mentoring about 6 years ago. I was involved with the Leadership Development Institute.
Okay.
I was literally begging them to allow me to be a teacher, and they gave me a chance.
Okay.
And I was able to mentor thousands of young people. And then recently, in November of last year, I was working at the National Training Agency as a life skills instructor. So a lot of youth in our country need help, need encouragement. A lot of people have a lot of mental health issues, and I want to use my ability and my focus and my passion to help them.
I mean, that's an interesting you know, subject you just mentioned. I mean, what have you found to be the most challenging aspect of mentoring, particularly young people in this day and time?
It's the mind.
It's the mind?
You know, when you're connected with friends who are not doing the right things, who are involved in negative behavior or dangerous behavior, it's hard to break them out of that. You know, and what I try to do is give them an outlet to say, hey, you know, I've seen these things before. I grew up, I spent most of my young life with my grandmother in Taylor Street after school, and I've seen a lot of things. So I say, you don't have to be that. You can be different, but the focus has to be with someone who's a role model and who can help to break them out of that.
Yeah, Jaden, you certainly left a mark wherever you've been. I know you were also with the the Grand Hyatt in Bahamas,
Yes, sir.
previous to what you're doing now. You developed some training videos for them. Yeah, talk a little bit more, share a little bit about what caused that and what it was all about.
Yes, sir. So back in 2015, I was the assistant guest service manager at the Grand Hyatt. So I was responsible for developing the guest service model. So when you look at, you got the bell attendants, you have the Grand Club attendants, you have the Grand Club agents. I was responsible for building the trainings when it came to videos, physical trainings, to make sure that the team knew exactly what the focus was for when the hotel opened. Obviously, went into liquidation. I didn't get to be there, but you know, things happen.
But you're still, I mean, you're still obviously involved, you know, in this aspect
Yes,
of the
sir.
business
Yes, sir.
training. Share a little bit more about, you know, the full scope, the full gamut of what Miller & Co., I've already shortened your name, what Miller & Co. is offering
Yes,
to
sir.
the general public. What, you got the fitness, you got business development training as
Yes,
well.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Another thing is the highlight videos. That's an important part. A lot of times, a lot of athletes want to get off to school, want to go to college, but a lot of parents don't know how to approach it, what to do, how to package it.
Okay.
So what we do is we create highlight videos.
Okay.
We go to their games, film the videos, create highlight videos, and also help with scouting services. We have a myriad of coaches, about 1,000 coaches that we reach out to via email. We send those emails out. Whichever coaches reach back to us, we keep in contact with them. We make sure the parents are involved and know what's going on, because we want to make sure our Bahamian youth can get those opportunities.
Man, I can feel the passion. Why is this so important to you, Jay?
It's who I am. You know, it's in me. I decided to put all my gifts into one business, and the thing is, when God gives you a gift, you got to use it.
You got to use it.
If you don't use it, you will lose it.
The talent, you're right, the talent will
Yes,
get
sir.
taken away. So what's next? What's next?
What's next? I don't know. You know, I mean, just empowering anyone that I can help, you know, encouraging youth, continuing to do what I'm doing, and just continuing to make a difference in this world. That's really what it's all about.
That's what it's all about.
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, tell the people how to reach you, and all of the different handles. I don't know all of the different types of
Okay,
things, but
all right.
how can they reach you?
All right, so the phone number is 821-6491. The Facebook page is J Miller Company 242 or J Miller and Company. The Instagram page is J Miller Company 242. The Twitter is J Miller Company. And you can also reach us via email, jmillercompany1@gmail.com.
All right, Jaden, listen, always a pleasure. Looking
thank
forward
you
to
so much.
great things from you.
Yes, sir.
Make sure that hookup works with Davinia, man. You had the chief in the house today, so I'm sure the Small Business Development Center obviously assists young entrepreneurs like yourself. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We've been with Jadian J. Miller, up-and-coming young entrepreneur here in our Commonwealth. We'll be right back.
Wait, that's Omar Little from The Wire. You think everyone is Omar from The Wire?
Wow, it's really nice to meet a fan.
It's like he's right here.
I telling you he's being all type shows and stuff.
And you know, Rev Go Play plays a lot of good movies and TV shows.
Excuse me, can't you see we're watching something else? Rude.
Settle all your pop culture disputes with Rev Go Play. Watch, record, and stream all your favorite shows wherever you are. Free for all Rev TV subscribers. Rev, you and us together.
Good afternoon. First response. How can I help you?
I've been in an accident on West Bay Street. Can you send someone to help?
Yes, ma'am. A first response team will be there in 15 minutes. Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine, but a bit upset.
We're glad you're not hurt. Please, try to relax. Our team will take care of everything as soon as they arrive.
First Response provides immediate on-site service and support from the scene of an accident through the claims and repair process. And it's free to all Bahamas First insured drivers in New Providence every day for any type of accident. If you drive and want first response on your side, call 321st or visit bahamasfirst.com for the name of an authorized Bahamas First agent. First response can't prevent an accident from happening,
But it can certainly ease your mind when it happens.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Of course, February is Black History Month, and all month long we've been showcasing historically black colleges and universities, highlighting, of course, Bahamians who have graduated from them with the help of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity and Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, of course, stars always celebrating you guys. And she told me I couldn't say soror, so I'm just going to say, listen, my co-host, Alana Major, she's the Assistant Vice President of Bahama Health, big title down there, and of course, the guy we've been talking about all morning long, he's the Chief Financial Officer of Doctors Hospital and also a graduate of Fisk University, and Alana, graduate of Florida Memorial University. I mean, just two very distinguished colleges. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you.
Morning. Yeah, both of you are no strangers, obviously, to the show. You know, Dennis, she's... we could talk about some other things, but you know, we'll save that for another day. But listen, all month long, I mean, we've been kind of celebrating you know, these universities and, of course, the Bahamians who went to them. And, you know, Florida Memorial, of course, is one of those schools that I was actually looking to attend when I started out. Really? Didn't make it there, but certainly, I mean, share a little bit more about, you know, how did you get there, you know, the environment, the experience.
Well, Florida Memorial College is right in South Florida, literally less than an hour away from here, so you could get there at any time. If you have your children going there, you don't have to worry. You could just jump on the plane and go and check on them. But right there in Opelika, Florida, has been there since, well, been in Florida since 1879. So the college started at a time when blacks were becoming more aware of themselves. They've gone through the whole slavery history, and then they had a chance to re-evolve or re-establish themselves. So black colleges were established so that blacks would have an opportunity to get together themselves and go ahead with academic excellence, go ahead with the professionalism, and be able to foster the type of culture and social activity that was needed within that particular community. So the school has been fostered in that type of environment, so it is an excellent experience to be able to get all of that academic exposure and to excel academically, but still have social consciousness and still be aware of what you should do as a leader in the community.
Yeah. And you know, people always say, well, so what's the big deal about historically black colleges? I mean, you attended Fisk University, another one of those really, really excellent schools. I mean, just expand a little bit upon, you know, why, you know, these colleges were established, and then, of course, the experiences you had at Fisk.
Absolutely. So, you know, Fisk, again, established in 1865. So what's happening in the United States of America at the time?
Exactly.
Blacks are disenfranchised and are looking for a place to get together and to pool their collective intellectual powers and to start to forge a new pathway forward, you know, for that particular group of people in America. And so for blacks in the broader diaspora, not necessarily in the United States, you know, African folks of the African diaspora in the Bahamas, looking for that same type of environment. I think Fisk University presented that for me when I went there in 2000, and just a rich and rewarding, firstly, academic experience, an experience that was about academic excellence first and foremost. But then second to that, what is then my obligation to my community, to my fellow brother, to my fellow sister? And I think my time at Fisk involved all of those things. A fundamental training in finance and business that prepared me to be, you know, a leader and a captain in industry anywhere I went, anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
And so that's certainly what my experience was like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you really had some notable African Americans and also Bahamians, in addition to yourself, that attended Fisk University. I mean, when you look at some of those names, Booker T. Washington.
Absolutely.
Who was the other name?
Yeah, W.E.B. Du Bois, as an example, you know, co-founder of the NAACP, who said after having went to Fisk and then later Harvard University, that at Harvard he met no better professors, only professors that were better known.
Correct.
You know, John Hope Franklin, as an example, the preeminent American historian, who I met when I was at Fisk University. Not the preeminent black American historian, the preeminent American historian, you know, from Fisk University. So a rich tradition, a rich legacy that I think still calls to generations of blacks in the diaspora, wherever they are, including here in the Bahamas, even today.
Definitely. So, Alana, I mean, you've had a wonderful career. You've always stood out and progressed. And of course, I would imagine the experiences that you also had, that Florida Memorial played a key role in this, in your success.
Yes, of course. I mean, Florida Memorial prepared me for where I am today. So we talked about the academic excellence. Sometimes people are of the opinion that if you go to an historically black college or university, you may not be able to get that same level of academic excellence, and it's just not true. Quality professors, a very enriching environment is what you would be able to find at our historically black colleges and universities. Florida Memorial College is no different. That literally was the foundation for me. So I was able to get my academic excellence. I was able to do well. I was actually the president of the Honor Society, served well in Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. I was actually made a member of the sorority at Florida Memorial College, of which I'm extremely proud.
Got your colors.
And I have my colors on today, but it awakened social consciousness for me as well. So I was able to serve my community. I was able to tutor young women. I was able to feed the homeless and be a part of what was happening in the culture, and serve and give back. And I started at a very young age, so I was transferred to Florida Memorial when I was 16. So I was very young, but the thing is, my mother felt so confident that being in this type of environment, around persons that would help to build me up, that I would be secure and that I would be able to do well, and she was right.
Absolutely, and the culture is stuck. I mean, it's stuck with both of you. I mean, obviously your alma maters would be the university of choice that you would recommend, but there's an expanded list of colleges. I mean, you just speak to, or just mention, the other historically black colleges of note.
Absolutely. So, first and foremost, there's Fisk University. Right?
I knew it was going to happen, right?
University, rather.
So we'll remind your viewers of that. But there's obviously Howard University, Washington, D.C. at the nexus of power for the entire United States of America. There's Spelman College, there's Clark Atlanta, there's Morehouse. So there's a whole, I think, list. But for Bahamian parents and for seniors in high school right now, looking for that transition where one, academic excellence is first, but then there is a soft landing right into the big broader world that is now outside of the Bahamas. I think the HBCU really presents as an opportunity, and frankly should be a first choice for people in the broader African diaspora.
Absolutely. Listen, thank you so much for coming on Bahamas at Sunrise. We're looking forward to these conversations the entire month long. We've been this morning with, can I say Sarah? Alana Major. Star, she made it very clear. I should have said, listen, she's the Assistant Vice President over there at Bahama Health and a graduate of Florida Memorial University. And of course, Brother Dennis DeVoe, Chief Financial. We'll talk later. Chief Financial Officer at Doctors Hospital and a Fisk University graduate. Thank you so much
for
sharing.
Here.
Listen, continue to excel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watching Bahamas at Sunrise. I believe I'm in trouble, but we'll be right back.
In the past, I've had a lot of issues with service, data service, drop calls. I was encouraged by a very close friend of mine to make the switch, and in doing so, my service has been impeccable. The data is very fast, it doesn't spool, it doesn't take long to load, so everything works beautifully. I like to know what my bills are, and it's important that I'm able to simply just pick up my phone and know what my bill is. The front line for the Valley Boys is comprised of about 200 members. It's very important because to be a successful leader, I need to be able to efficiently and consistently communicate with them. It works that way. It's beautiful. The data that you guys provide is flawless. I'm John Williams, and I believe in best.
COB prepared me to be a leader by teaching me to work hard for what I want. I'm the first chief internal auditor at the University of Bahamas. To me, that's an honor to be able to do that. I feel like I'm giving back to a university that gave me a start in my life. I'm Errol Thompson, and this is my UB.
Apply today at www.ub.edu.bs.
Grand Bahamas' biggest business conference. Be there Thursday, February 21st at the Grand Lucayan Resort at 8:30 a.m. Keynote address by Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, Minister for Grand Bahama. Register now. Contact Margaret Albury at the Councilors Limited at 322-7505 or Merson Ferguson at the Grand Bahama Chamber of Commerce 242-352-8329 or register online at tclevents.com. Grand Bahama Business Outlook 2019.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're at the halfway point of our fabulous Friday show, and we hope that you're enjoying so far.
I am, and I want to apologize to all of your colleagues out there for mentioning those two words on the show.
No, you don't, Phil.
You're
why,
right.
why do you want to be disingenuous?
You're right.
I don't like that. Okay, if you're going to be wrong, then you be wrong and strong. But don't apologize without a genuine heart.
Oh, goodness, you're absolutely right. Listen, so Jadian, man, another one of those guys, you know, young man, you know, trying to make some things happen. And it's always that connection of purpose and passion, right? And you know, just encourage people out there. Listen, you can do anything, that you want to do if you commit your mind, especially in the 21st century, especially in 2019. I mean, we talk about it all the time in junior achievement, that anything's possible. And I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, I love it, and I love the fact that we had Davinia Blair on before that, the Small Business Development
We made
Center.
that connection before the show, actually.
Yeah, because it's so important that people realize, and I think what you said is critical, that it's a mind game, that a lot of us just don't believe that we can do it, and the idea that we can do it is sometimes scary for us to do it. And so a lot of us are removing the mental blocks that are necessary to just push yourself forward. So when I have my students and I teach my online courses, that's one of the things that we focus on, is this idea that you have to remove the stigmas from your mind and say, I'm limited in something, and really believe that you can achieve it. And then you have organizations like the SBDC to help you take the dream and vision, put it on paper, execute the plan, and make it happen.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, mentorship is very important.
yeah,
Very important.
indeed.
Yeah, it sounds like a Bob Marley song.
Okay,
We'll come back to
so
it.
we're going to come back to the show now. We've got more to come in the second half. Of course, Phil had that conversation with the Minister of Tourism. Looking forward to that segment. And 60 years of the National Trust. Going to be talking with Eric Carey about how they're celebrating.
All right,
yeah,
good. He's been there for a very long time doing excellent work there. Such an important organization. I mean, we can't, understate it, or can't overemphasize it enough how important the National Trust is to the Commonwealth. So I don't know if you're going to get into all of that, but
looking forward to it. We've got more to come in the second half, but let's take a second look at weather with Godfrey Burnside.
Weather at Sunrise, brought to you by Bahamas First in Insurance, today, tomorrow.
Thank you, Stan. Good morning, Bahamas. Your second look at weather at Sunrise. High pressure downweather feature across the islands. Those winds will start increasing over the weekend as a weak from a boundary moves near Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini on Saturday evening. That will fizzle out sometime late Sunday into Monday. So you can expect a couple of spotty showers, particularly with the Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini over the weekend. In your marine forecast, winds today northeast to east at 15 knots, seas 3 to 5 feet in northwest Bahamas, 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the central and southeastern islands. On Saturday across all the islands, northeast to east at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet. And then on Sunday, those winds easterly at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the northwest and central Bahamas, northeast to east at 15-20 knots, seas 4 to 6 feet over the southeastern islands. Your tides. You can expect a high tide at 9:54 this morning. Net low tide will be at 4:57 this evening. High gain tonight at 10:17. Sunset at 5:57 this evening, rises tomorrow morning at 6:48. UV index 8. Your water temperature 73 degrees Fahrenheit, and your moon phase now moving towards the first quarter. Extended look, particularly weekend so weather-wise, mix of sun and clouds, particularly the northwest Bahamas with a couple of showers, partly sunny over the remainder of the islands. Those temperatures daytime will be in the low 80s, at nighttime in the upper 60s. That puts you wrapping your final look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Star.
Thank you so much, Godfrey. Well, the Bahamas National Trust is celebrating 60 years of conserving and protecting the natural resources of the Bahamas. They have several exciting fundraising events coming up, and we're going to be learning more about those events and the trust itself as we speak with the man in charge, Mr. Eric Carey. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. It's great to be here.
A pleasure to have you with us always. Whenever you come, we know that we're talking about really a jewel in our country that's about protecting all of the beauty that we have here.
The environment, our stock and trade, that's what we have. That's what we have to protect. Everything that we depend on, it's our environment.
Certainly, and 60 years of doing so is a really long time.
Absolutely. I mean, the people that decided that they needed to create the National Trust were visionary. They really had the courage to do what they thought was right. I mean, the story is basic. You know, the exhumas, the entire exhumas were under threat. And decision was made to go to government and say there's no way we could allow Howard Hughes to buy the entire exhumas. They went, studied it, and set aside the Exuma Park and created the BNT. At the same time, in Agua, the flamingos were disappearing. They went down, hired the Nixon brothers to be wardens instead of hunters. Greatest conservation success story. And this organization has been the organization that has guided the development of this incredible conservation story. So 60 years is a big deal, and we're really happy to be celebrating it. You know, it calls for so many partnerships with government, with the private sector. It calls for people having given a lot to the organization. You know, people like, you know, Oris Russell and, you know, Lynn Holoesco, Pericles Mealis, so many people that people would think about down the line. And then there are lots of people, you know, like our stalwart staff members like Henry Nixon in Inagua, who has been there since day one, and, you know, Lynn Gape, who's been with the organization for so many years, and just our incredible staff that we have now. So it takes a lot of people working together, but the objective is, you said it right, it's a jewel. Our country is a jewel, and our national parks are, you know, are the real sparkling ones that we have to take care of.
All right. I remember last year getting the opportunity to go and travel through the national parks because you guys did an amazing event at the parks on I think it was Earth Day.
Yeah, it's coming up again in late April.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that, absolutely.
And it really gives Bahamians the opportunity to go in and see, like from a different perspective, what it is that we're protecting. And it really is a beautiful space, all of our parks.
Absolutely. The national parks, the Bahamas has one of the most impressive national park system in the Americas, probably outside of the great USA. Our national park system, very impressive. And you know, in the early years, we always talk about the fact that the objective was to protect the natural resources, and you did that often by keeping people away from the natural resources and out of parks. And then people started realizing that they wanted to enjoy these spaces, and so now national parks is about balancing, protecting the resource, but getting people in to enjoy the parks. These national parks belong to the Bahamian people, and we want people to come and enjoy them. We want them to be used as part of the tourism product. I mean, I was outside this morning WhatsApping with the Deputy Director General of Tourism, Tommy, and reflecting, you know, one of the new ads has so much beauty of the blue waters of Exuma, and we love seeing that, and we believe the message is getting out that the national parks are really important to protecting, you know, our entire economy, way of life, you know, etc. So.
Yeah, I mean, and it's amazing. And two of those parks that I'm thinking of is particularly, you mentioned Exuma earlier, and then we also, I think about Adelaide and the beauty out there. And two of the events that you're having in celebration of the 60th years are going to happen in Exuma and happen in Adelaide. So talk to me about the two events that are coming up in celebration of the 60th anniversary.
So, you know, to do what we do, and we do a lot of environmental education as part of it, and it takes a lot of funding. I mean, you know, we always have to talk about the fact that to run this incredible organization, we need the resources. I mean, it costs right now $4.5 million to run the organization. We're probably going to be a $10 million organization as we bring parks on stream and create jobs, etc. That requires funding. So in celebration of the 60th anniversary of the Exuma Park, Exuma Keys Land and Sea Park, the oldest land and sea park in the world, David and Christina Hawker from Staniel Key have graciously offered to host a special event ashore at Staniel on the weekend of March 1st and 2nd.
Okay.
And so, you know, we're hoping that Bahamians who have boats who go down for the entire weekend. There's a cocktail reception on Friday with a silent auction. We're premiering a beautiful movie about Exuma Park.
Okay.
And also on Saturday there's a gala. So we're hoping people will come and support that. That's an important fundraiser. And then this weekend we're having a Latin weekend anchored by the Cuban Pig Roast, which was started by our dear late friend Manuel Catillas. The Pig Roast is held on Saturday at the Mailist Farm. It's a signature fundraiser for us. But we brought in this incredible Cuban band. Last night they were amazing at Smugglers. And tonight, Latin night at the retreat. It's going to be fun. I really want to encourage people to come out. And yes, there are fun events, but the bottom line is it's about providing support and funding for this incredible organization. So those are the two events that we're doing this, you know, in the coming months as fundraisers. But all throughout the year, we're going to be having special events. We're doing a park trek, you know, which is sort of challenge event, adventure for the adventurous. Some people, you know, kayaking and swimming out to offshore keys in Bonefish Pond, and maybe biking to Primeval Forest. Absolutely, we're doing a lot of things this year to celebrate the achievements. I mean, 60 years of conservation is worth celebrating, and we're not going to be shy about letting people know what we've done to protect the resources of this country.
Excellent, excellent. And I'm sure we can find ticket information and information about the upcoming events if we follow you online at Bahamas National Trust.
Bahamas BNT.bs. Our Facebook page is going to be lit up. All the information is there. So absolutely, go and check it out. Enjoy. Yeah. Cool.
Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Mr. Carey. Thank you for the work that you and your team are doing. Certainly 60 years, something to raise all the horns about. And we hope that you'll join us again as you continue to have these events and we can educate the public.
I love Bahamas at Sunrise.
And we love you too. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be back with more after this commercial break.
Live music by Maria Alejandra and Cubania. Direct from Havana. Friday, February 8th, the Retreat Garden, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. There will also be free salsa lessons and an open dance floor. Pot Cake Man Triathlon. Sunday, February 10th, Jaws Beach, 7 a.m. Clifton Heritage presents Jazz in the Park, a night of love. Music by Sherelle and Jazz Etc. Sunday, February 10th, Clifton Heritage Park. Cocktails 5 p.m., showtime 6 p.m. Wise Guy Entertainment, the Beam Agency, Studio B Productions, in association with Radio House presents the 10th annual Love Fest. Laugh Now, Love Later. Comedy show featuring Barbara Carlisle, Touré Gordon, Trevor Adderley, Pedro Hernandez, hosted by the Bahamian King of Comedy, Naughty. Valentine's Night, Thursday, February 14th, Courtyard Marriott. Happy hour 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Doors open at 8 p.m. Showtime 9 p.m. sharp. That's your live weekend calendar. To have your event posted on the calendar, please don't hesitate to email kalbury@tclbahamas.com. Alive. Believe in best.
Timothy Basil Donaldson, also known as T. Basil or T.B. Donaldson, was born in New Providence on January 2, 1934. He obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in Mathematics from Fisk University, a Master of Mathematics degree from the University of Minnesota, and a Master of Public Administration degree from Columbia University. In 1962, Donaldson began his career as the Assistant Secretary at the Ministry of Finance. He also served as the Controller of Exchange and Manager and eventually the Chairman of the Bahamas Monetary Authority. In 1972, Donaldson served as the Economic Advisor to the Bahamas' government at the Independence Conference in London, and shortly after became the first governor of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. He was appointed as the Ambassador of the Bahamas to the United States and the Permanent Representative to the Organization of American States in 1992. Donaldson is remembered as a trailblazer and a visionary in Bahamian banking and finance and national development. A Moment in Black History is brought to you by Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity and by the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority in conjunction with the Counselors Limited.
Gatorade, Fruit Punch, Lemon Lime, and Orange. 64 ounce, $3.39 at Solomon's.
WTO memberships will bring benefits to the Bahamas. These benefits include increased economic growth and development, increased opportunities for Bahamian exports, higher employment, better income for Bahamian workers, lower cost of living for Bahamian consumers, increased choices for Bahamian consumers, modernization in government services, and better relations with trade partners. These benefits, combined with progressive planning and execution by our private and public sectors, will produce a better life for Bahamians.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Indeed, it is a pleasure for me to be interviewing a good, I want to say an old friend, but don't let the gray hair fool you. He's a very young man. He's our Minister of Tourism and Aviation, Dionisio de Aguilar. The Ministry of Tourism has had a banner year in terms of increases in arrivals for stopover visitors. And of course, the result has been industry awards and of course, new tourism developments. But listen, thank you so much for popping in so early in the morning to join us here on Bahamas at Sunrise.
Philip, you're the only one who can get me here this early, but I'm here, fired up and ready to go.
And ready to go. Well, excellent, man. So the numbers speak for themselves. I mean, and obviously something is happening and something is happening really good. So speak to us a little bit firstly about the growth in air arrivals, because first we got to get the people here.
So you're right, 2018 was a banner year.
Mm-hmm.
We're projecting that air arrivals to the nation increased by a whopping 17%. That's
incredible. Yeah.
That's statistics up to November. We don't have December in yet. But and then we are looking at our forward numbers based on the statistics that we're being provided. We're expecting January to be up by another 16%, February to be up by another 16%. March will be flat because Easter this year is in April rather than March, and then April is going to be another phenomenal month. So the growth is continuing through the first quarter. You know, there are a number of reasons why it's happened. Of course, the American economy is on fire.
Up, yeah.
Bahamas came on stream. Obviously, some islands were affected by the hurricane Maria and Irma, and people redirected their travel to the Bahamas in 2018. And I think the Ministry of Tourism has really done a phenomenal job of recognizing the shifting markets of how people purchase their vacations, and has adjusted its marketing budget to accommodate that.
Okay. You know, I was going to say, I mean, for people who don't know you, I mean, you're obviously a very successful businessman. And that same type of, listen, I had the opportunity to work with him for a number of years at the Chamber of Commerce, but I'm pretty sure you took that same style of analysis and intervention at the Ministry of Tourism. And obviously, as you just said, you've allowed those professionals to kind of do what they do.
Yeah, so that's the most important thing. I mean, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism is the most, has the most exceptional staff. The leadership is wonderful. And really, you just let them go for it. You let the numbers drive the outcome.
Yeah.
And when you recognize that 76% of our foreign visitors come from the United States, and 68% of them purchase their vacations online, it didn't take that much brain power to say, okay, let's shift our marketing budget to those mechanisms that people use to purchase their vacations. So let's put a ton of marketing online, those engines that people use to book their vacations. Let's make Kayak, Expedia. Let's put money into marketing around those online booking engines. And you know, it's been phenomenal. I mean, it's really great.
Yeah, but of course, we're not resting our laurels alone on the established markets, as infinite as it may seem, particularly in the United States, where you have hundreds of millions of people. But then there's also billions. I mean, so you know, the Ministry of Tourism, I think, at the end of last year, you took a trip to China to help promote the destination for Chinese tourists. Share a little bit about the results of that meeting and whether or not we can expect an uptick from that market as well.
Well, it's amazing that the Chinese are very interested in the Bahamas. You're right, there's billions of them thinking about travel now as their wealth improves and increases. The government of the Bahamas has removed all visas for Chinese citizens if once they have an American, UK, visa. Canadian, or European visa. So we figured they got to go through one of those countries to get here. So let another country deal with those formalities.
Right.
And you know, and they're fascinated with the swimming pigs.
Yeah.
And you know, this year's the year of the pig, so our marketing was like, come to the Bahamas and swim with the pigs in the year of the pig.
Yes.
But that being said, you know, it's a distance. It's a long journey, and we should never move or forget the statistic that 85% of our foreign visitors come from North America.
Right, right.
So this is just trying to tickle other markets to see what we can get, but our core market is the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
And that's where the bulk of our visitors come from. And so we'll be launching off to other parts of the world, but never losing sight of what our core mission is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And of course, the rewards have been coming in. You know, we're so happy and proud to see most recently I think it was the
Carib Journal, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Destination of the Year.
Yeah, Destination of the Year.
Yeah.
And of course,
they said I was the minister of the year.
They said you were the minister, being very humble about that. But so the Prime Minister would have given you know, his first national address for the year about a week ago, and you know, it focused on the economy. You know, like first things first, the economy first, social issues, and then of course environmental issues a little bit set later. But with regards to the economy, there were several new announcements relative to tourism. If you can just speak a little bit more, because again, you know, by far tourism is still our #1 industry, and you know, these new developments seem to be upticking.
Well, obviously there's the point that hopefully will come on stream this year. Bahamas is about to add a water feature park, a couple $100 million. There's a new development on Paradise Island with the Sterling Group about to put in a new marina and shopping and condos or townhouses. So there are those very impressive projects coming. And of course, the biggest one of all is hopefully we can get started the redevelopment of the port.
Yes.
The cruise port in downtown Nassau. That is a major project that's before the government right now, and we're considering that. But all of these, you know, coming together will keep that engine ticking. And I don't want to forget the Family Islands. The Family Islands have had phenomenal growth. Abaco is up 18%. Eleuthera is up a whopping 28%. Wow. San Salvador is up 8%. So throughout the length and breadth of the country, the islands are growing as well. I don't want people to say, oh, it's only happening because of Bahamas. That's helped here in New Providence, but what we're seeing is throughout the islands, phenomenal growth as well.
You know, when people think about the Bahamas, you know, the first thing that probably comes to mind is Nassau. And, you know, the Prime Minister did touch on it a little bit, and the word that was used was appalling. Of course, the media picks up on that, etc. But I mean, there is a ways to go for this. I mean, it's the hub. You know, downtown Nassau. You know, what's being done to kind of address the state of the city?
Okay, so there's a number of. First of all, I talked about the port. We're thinking and hoping that that is the catalyst to get. To start the revitalization of downtown. We've approved the construction of a boardwalk going from East Street up to the Sydney-Portier Bridge, which is the newer of the two bridges. We are considering building heights. You know, obviously, to revitalize Nassau, we need to create a living city. We have to create residential units in downtown Nassau. What is better? What is the best place to do that? Obviously, it's from that East Street to the Sydney-Portier Bridge, and you can imagine it's a beautiful harbor. If you've got high-rise buildings there looking out over that harbor, it's going to attract young millennials downtown who want to come out of their apartment and get a coffee and go to the store and go out to dinner and go to a restaurant and bar like they do in many other cities. Obviously, we're thinking about the venues a little bit west. You've got Fort Charlotte, Arawak Key, Junkanoo Beach. We're looking at proposals on how to revitalize all of them. So there's a lot of projects in play. We just need to get them going and make them happen. And you know, it's the difficulty about Bay Street is that there's just so many stakeholders. There's so many different owners, and trying to get all of them and cajole all of them to get behind a certain mission, a certain purpose, makes it difficult. And, all the consultation you have to do, and obviously the enormous amount of resources you need. But you know, obviously we're looking for private sector involvement and investment in downtown Bay Street, and hopefully that'll start the revitalization, because the Prime Minister is absolutely right. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah, unacceptable, no doubt about it. But listen, tourism is certainly you know, on the uptick. Very, very pleased with the way things are going. I want to say personal congratulations as well, Dio.
Thank you so much.
And next time we're going to come to you. We'll do the interview in the afternoon. Listen,
thank you.
Thanks once again. We've been with the Minister of Tourism and Aviation, Mr. Dionisio. I wanted to say J.D. Diaglo, but Dionisio Diaglo. We'll be right back.
One thing, two things, blue thing, all things, things that are small, things that are grand, things that fit just right, and in the palm of your hand. Fox Hill Nursery, a large selection of garden supplies, If you can see it in your mind, you can find it at Fox Hill Nursery.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. Before we go, we do want to remind you that there is a walk tomorrow for Partners in Love. It's in aid of Andre Campbell Kidney Transplant Drive, and it is going to happen tomorrow, Saturday, February 9th, 2019, and it's going to start from where, Phil? Do we know?
I think the church, actually.
Yeah, from St. Gregory's Anglican Church. Yeah, okay. And she, of course, is the daughter of the Reverend Canon Sebastian Campbell, who we all know very well for his fight for Bahamians and certainly his passion for heroes of the country. So if you can support that walkathon tomorrow, we would all be most grateful. And, of course, you can call the church for more information. That is St. Gregory's Anglican Church on Carmichael Road, how you can support this donation for a kidney transplant for Andrea Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah, good show.
Good show. Excellent show, making sure it is a wonderful weekend for all of you, and we will see you here on Monday.
In fact, tonight, Junior Achievement Speech Finals as well.
Okay.
At the, is it the Marriott right along there, opposite the Western Esplanade.
Okay, should be good. I tell you, Jay, speech competitions, one of the major things in my life that's made me and brought me to who I am. So be out there to support. See you later.